Hello, this is Dr. Alan Yim. In this video, I'm going to be doing an example from the workbook to help you do your homework. So this is page 76, number 1. And as you can see, I have written out the bass line, and we have a lot of things to determine. We're supposed to compose a soprano line to fit the progression, to create a nice counterpart to the bass, fill in the alto and tenor parts, and we need to include a 6/4 chord. So the first thing I should do is I should make sure I know what key I'm working in and add the chord symbols and the Roman numerals. So we need to figure out the harmonization. Now, looking at the bass line, the first thing I notice is that it begins and ends on a D. So don't be tempted just to right away say, oh, this is F major, because actually this looks like D minor to me because of where the pitches that start and end the piece, and also this, the most common progression, looks like 5/1 to me, A major to D minor. So in fact, because I want to make it easy for myself, I might just go ahead and fill in these starting and ending chords and then worry about the ones in between. And since it is in minor, I better use a lowercase 1. I am going to try to do this rather quickly so I don't make this into too long of a video, and you can always back it up and check it. But because I'm doing it quickly, I hope I don't make any bad mistakes, and if I do, please let me know. Now, I have to look for a place to put a 6/4 chord. We have several different types of 6/4s. We have pedal, passing, and cadential, and these are the ones that we possibly could use here. We won't find a bass arpeggiation or a bass melody here. A bass melody is when the melody is all by itself and you have chords accompanying. We're writing in 4 parts, so it's not going to be bass melody. It's not going to be bass arpeggiation because, as you can see, the bass is a melodic line. It's not an arpeggiation of a chord. So these are our only 3 choices for this: pedal, passing, or cadential. Now, as far as cadential goes, it would have to be 1/6/4/5/1. But we can see from here, this bass note would need to be also A for this to be a 1/6/4. So we can't use that here because that 1/6/4 does not harmonize in the place it would need to be. We would have to have an A there. This would have the bass note would have to be the same here, so we could have D minor over A, and that would be 1/6/4. That's not it. So we're going to eliminate that possibility. Passing. This looks like a good possibility because, as you can see here in the very beginning, the bass is stepping. In a passing 6/4, the bass steps on a weak beat and connects 2 chords. So it looks very likely that this note here could be a passing 6/4. So that's what I'm going to aim for. I'm going to try to make a passing 6/4 on that second chord. Pedal, well, a pedal means the bass stays the same. Okay, so same bass notes. Usually when you see a passing 6/4, the bass does something like this. Either that or it just stays like a long note and it sustains. But you can see this bass line is constantly moving, so it's not going to be a pedal 6/4. Alright. So let's see what the second chord would be if it were 6/4. And so if I make the second chord here 6/4, that means that this E is the 5th of the chord, and the root of the chord would be A. It would be A, C, E. But that's the 5 chord in D minor, so we're going to have to raise up, and it's going to be A over E with a C sharp in it. Okay, so we have the first 2 chords. Now, for the rest of the chords, you might be able to just imagine, try out 1, 2, 4, and 5, the most common chords. You could also list all of the possibilities. I'm going to do that just to show you what it looks like. You don't have to do this, but this will give you an idea of what chords you could use. Okay, so starting from the 3rd chord, this one here, it could be 3, it could be in major, because the 3 major, because we're in the key of minor, 1 or 6. This could be 4, 2, diminished, or 7, diminished. This could be 5, or it could be 3, or 1. And then, of course, this could be 1, 6, or 4. So there we have all the possibilities. You know we're not allowed to use any root position diminished chords. So let me, first of all, add in the proper, all of these chords would be first inversion, right? Before, when we did this harmonization, we didn't have the third row because these are all 6/4 chords, right? If you look at the bass, these would all be 6/4. Now, we can eliminate any diminished triads that are not in first inversion. So this one here, we cannot use that. We cannot use that in 6/4. The 2 diminished 6 we could use. So it might help to work backwards. I'm going to circle the choices that I'm going to use in green. And I'm going to try to stick to chords that are more common. So I'm not going to make this something that's super exotic. And you can see by doing this, by looking, you might notice we can eliminate some possibilities. For example, right here, we can't use that because that is not one of the types of 6/4 chords. We can't use 6, 5 because that doesn't work. 6 does not go to 5. We're only left with 1. In the next one, going backwards, we could go 4, 6, 1, but we could not go 1, 6, 4 because that's not a type of 6/4 chord that we can use. Okay, and I think maybe I'll just, again, I'm going to stick to something more normal. So maybe 5. The 4, 6 would be a problem. Oops, and actually that's a 3. That we can't use that 3. 3 does not go to 1. Okay, backing up another chord. Okay, I'm going to use the 2. The 2 is a nice chord, and since it's inverted, we could also use 4. That one is good, but I'm going to choose 2. The third chord, okay, we could use 3. No, we couldn't, because we have 5, 6, 4. Well, wait a minute. We could use 3. Now, this 5, 6, 4, I'm going to put it in parentheses. This is not part of the chord progression. So we could go 1, 5, 6, 4, 3, 4, 5, 1. That's possible. We could also go 1 and then 1, 6, 4, 5, 1. The 6, 6, 4. All right, this one here is interesting. Maybe if we did this, we would end up with 2 passing 6/4 chords. Not sure about that one. So I put a question mark here. Probably better to stay away from that one. So I think I'll probably use the 1, 6. So we have more use of the 1 chord and to establish the harmony more clearly. Okay, so now I'm going to write in the chord symbols. D minor over F. I'm going to ignore that. Yeah. And then 2, 6. So this is E diminished over G. 5, which is A. And then D. So you notice most of the chords here are 5 and 1 chords, and most of them are in root position. That's what I would recommend in general. Mostly tonic and dominant chords, 1 and 5, and most of the chords in root position. We do have just 1 6/4 chord, and I could have, oh no, sorry, we have a 1 6/4 chord, which is 5 6 4, and we have 1 6, the first inversion. Oh, we also have 2 6. Okay, so we have we have 3 inverted chords. Now I'm going to add the upper voices. I'll put them in another color to show that this is added. The blue is what the problem that was, well, is what's given. So I notice that the bass line ascends. So you notice this ascending motion here? I'm going to try to make the soprano go mostly descending to have some kind of contrary motion, which means I should probably start either on this, either on the D or the A, because if I start too low, the soprano, so maybe either there or there. I'm going to start on the D, I think, because it's, the only thing is I have to be aware of making a nice contour and a leading, a focal point. So D, maybe I can go down to C, and then I'll go down to A. Who knows? Maybe that will be the focal point. G. Okay. I do also have to be aware of what's going to be doubled later. That might, okay, this might not be so good because I'm going to have a problem if I have to, when I go to the next note. So maybe I will go to B. So here, you notice I did a parallel. These are parallel thirds, which is okay. Then I could go down to A. And maybe I keep the A. And, don't really want to keep going on that A, but maybe I can go. So some things I can't do. I can't go here because that would be, if I go to the E, that's hidden fifths. So be aware of when you have voices that move in the same direction. This is going to be a rather boring ending if I have 4 A's in a row. So, whoops. Normally I might sing through this, I might try a few options out, but since we're a little pressed for time, I'm not going to do that. I am instead going to try to, I'm just going to make something up. Let's put an F sharp here, and how about an E and a D? Alright, so this is a very depressing melody because, as you can see, the contour is only down. I don't know if I would recommend this, but I don't want to get stuck on that A. So here's what the melody sounds like. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I do recommend checking out what you wrote before you fill in all the blanks. In other words, put the stems in, and play, if you can, the two parts together. Oh, it would help if I think I did not mean that note. I think I meant a G here. Yeah, I had a G. Let me fix that. Okay, here we go. Oh no, I did not. I had a. Okay, we don't want a parallel octave there, so let's put a B. Okay. We'll cover two-part voice leading more in theory too, but just notice that we do have an octave in the middle here. Normally we wouldn't want to have too many octaves or fifths between the bass and the soprano. For purposes of the exercise today, just because I'm trying to show you how to do this, I'm going to leave it. And now the last step would be to fill in the two inner voices. I'm sort of okay with what I have so far with this, and I have also checked to make sure that I don't have any bad parallels. The only parallel motion I wrote that I see is here. I have to check. That is a parallel third, as I mentioned, from F. So F to A, which is okay. And then I also have this, which I should check, because the soprano is leaping, but as you can see, it ends on a third, which is okay. Okay, and then of course the end. The end's okay. We have contrary motion, and we have similar motion, but the soprano is stepping, so I don't need to worry about that. So now let's fill in the other two voices. We want to make all the chords complete, and when it's in root position, I'm going to double the root. When it's in first inversion, I'll double anything, but I'll probably try to double one of the outer voices. And then when it's in second inversion, I have to double the bass, which is the fifth of the chord. Okay, so here we go, inner voices. So first one, noting that there is going to narrow, I'm going to try to get these voices sort of in the middle so that I don't have to worry about voice crossing. So I'll start like this, and then I'll try to keep common tones and steps. Now the bass has to be doubled. It has to be the alto, because if I try to do it with the tenor, I'll have parallel octaves. And so now we need now we need the root, So the root has to be down here. Okay, notice again, it's not the most obvious solution because you might want to step up to E with the tenor, but then if you do, again, that's parallel octaves with the bass. Next, let's see, maybe here we have a first inversion chord, so we have a lot of options on what to double. I'm going to double the soprano down here by keeping this common tone. I'm doing this to help smooth the voice leading and also to avoid parallels. Let's see if it works on the next chord. So we need an E, we have a problem. Okay, so you can see in the next chord there's a problem because I need a 2 diminished, and the alto has to go up to the E, to the root of the chord. So is this a problem? Well, slightly, but this interval here is E to G flat, so this is a diminished fifth. This is a little bit of a unequal fifth. And unequal fifths, again, we're going to let this go because, one, I don't have very many options, and B, because it's not including the bass notes. So maybe it's not the greatest. It sounds like this. Okay, but because it's going to this diminished, it's and it's in an upper voice, it might be okay. And I think I have a couple choices here. I could double the bass or I could double the soprano. Well, I don't think the soprano would be a good choice because then we'll really have a bad situation with the doubling of we'll have two parallels. I can't do that because we'll have a parallel octave with the soprano. Oof. Now wow, I really made this difficult for myself. Okay, so clearly I maybe needed to make more space for myself because now I'm going to have to do the unpleasant thing of doing this. The bass is going to have to leap up to C, and this is not good, but I'm going to do it anyway. So this isn't very good. I wonder if there's another way for me to get around this. Maybe this last, okay. This isn't good that the bass and the tenor are leaping up like this. Maybe I could. Alright, I could possibly switch these two voices. Let me just take a look at this. So when you're working on these problems, you may encounter situations where you feel like you're stuck. And if that happens, yes, you can back up a little bit. You could try some different things. This doesn't look particularly fantastic because now I have a diminished fifth leaping up in the bass. And you notice here all of the voices from measure 1 to measure 2 are moving up. I don't like that kind of a situation. Oh, and I have voice crossing between the tenor and the alto, so that is not going to work. I'm going to keep what I had before. I don't really like it, but it looks like it's probably one of the few solutions. So this is going to go like this. I'm going to keep it like this. Okay, not the greatest. Maybe I would change the soprano to fix this, or even the bass line, but the bass is given, so I can't do anything about that. And let's see. Okay, this guy has to go down. We need to double the D. Okay, that's okay. Oops, these are supposed to be half notes. Alright. Hate to see how long this video is. This is going to be an A. This is going to be a C. Okay, and then to end, well, I'm going to make this chord complete. Alright, so we have talked about how to, I'm going to use method 2 about how to resolve root positions. Chords, we'll learn more about this later, but I'm going to end it like this. And I should also change this soprano note because it should be a. Make sure that when you're doing this that you make all your notes the right value, the length. So this should be a dotted quarter, a dotted half, and this should be a dotted half. Okay. Once you're satisfied with this all, you can put the stems in. Don't forget the stems. The stems show the rhythm, and they show which voice is singing each part. If you do leave out the stems, it's an error. Okay, so let me go ahead and play this and see if it sounds decent. Again, the objective is to have full chords with nice voice leading, no voice crossing, good spacing, and here we go, and good doubling. Oh, I know what I may have forgotten before I even start. So we have to make sure that we have raised the leading tone for the 5 chord. So in the figured bass, they didn't give you 3. Okay, so you just have to recognize this could cause, oh no, I see a problem. Oh. Okay, so there is a problem, and that is I have an augmented 4th because I wasn't really paying attention to this over here in measure 2. So that is something that I would have to probably fix. That G natural to the C sharp is an augmented 4th. All right, but that's because I'm trying to go as fast as possible. Okay, that's what I have so far. I'm going to stop here because the video, I don't want it to be too long. I hope this helps you to understand how to get this thing started. Again, the steps: find the key, find the chord symbols and the Roman numerals, determine where the 6/4 chord can go, then write the melody, carefully observing how it moves against the bass, to not create parallels, to use contrary motion, and then add the inner voices. Don't forget that if you are in minor, you must raise the leading tone. Thanks for watching.